Porn addiction is global warming for young men. Maybe a little bit of an intense statement, but what do I mean by that? If you look at the history of global warming 30 years ago, as an idea, it didn't exist. Nobody was talking about it until a couple of people came forward, started looking around. And they said, I think the planet's getting hotter. Scientists would deny it. They would say, no, absolutely not. Global warming doesn't exist. Planet's not getting hotter. Trust me, I'm a scientist. But even more people would come forward. Even more people would come forward. And they would all get together, and eventually they said, it's the middle of February. It's 30 degrees outside. Let's do some studies on this. So the scientists, they go back to their labs and they say, okay, we'll do the research, we'll collect the data, we'll let you know what's going on when we find out. Scientific research takes a very, very long time to collect. It takes even longer to get everybody agreeing with each other. And in that time, right, you've got birds falling out of the sky, you've got polar bears lying around dying of starvation, penguins, seals, walruses, they're all dying off, right? Damage is being done. And in that time frame, you had politicians. They would go up to their country's government, like the Al Gores of the world, and they would lobby. They would try to get funding for studies and research, and they would set up groups and institutions, and they would give speeches to try and raise self-awareness and work out what's going on. And as the years go by, there were people that were saying, yeah, I don't believe in global warming. I don't think it's real. But fast forward to 2019, and fewer people are denying it. And it's treated as this fact now where if we knew 20 years ago, maybe we could have saved all those polar bears. And the scientists are looking around and they're thinking, yeah, actually it might be too late at this point. Turns out the planet is getting hotter and we're all going to die. Sorry, guys. If you take out the death part of that metaphor, it's a perfect fit for porn addiction. Because 30 years ago, there was no internet. But then the internet got invented. And suddenly guys had all this access to online porn, right? They could beam and stream all of this unending visual stimulus right into their brains for hours on end, on demand, when they wanted it. So a few guys would come forward after a while and they would look around and they would say, I think I'm addicted to porn. Scientists would do what scientists do. They would deny it at first. No, absolutely not. There's no research, clinical studies, all of that stuff. You cannot get addicted to porn. Trust me. I'm a scientist. But then even more guys would come forward on Reboot Nation, on Reddit NoFap. They would get together on these forums and they would say, oh, you too? Oh, dude, I thought it was just me. You've got that problem too? Yeah, I have this problem and that problem. And last night I was with my girlfriend. This happened and that didn't happen. There should be some studies on this. So the scientists, they bow their heads and they go, okay, fine, we'll do the studies, collect the research, yada, yada, yada. Get back to you in 20 years when we know what's going on. And in that time, the damage is being done, right? Guys are struggling to have normal, healthy sex with their partners, right? We have all these self-esteem issues. We have all of these problems that are cutting to the core of our masculine identities and impacting our ability to have normal, healthy sex and intimacy and all of that stuff that makes life enjoyable. And we also had Al Gore at that time come forward. Gary Wilson wrote an incredible book. I think every young man should read. It's called Your Brain on Porn. Definitely recommended. And in that book, he says, yeah, turns out we've done a lot of research now and you can rewire your brain from watching too much porn and that it does get really addictive. It's a lot like cocaine. It uses all the same circuitry in your heads. And if we knew that 20 years ago, we could have saved all those guys a lot of pain. Sorry, guys. So global warming wants to save the whales. Porn addiction recovery, it wants to save the males, right? How do we do that? It starts with self-awareness. We need to start educating ourselves about what sex is and what it isn't, about the dangers of using porn as our only reference for sexuality, and also teaching ourselves that it's okay to want and desire the opposite sex. It's the whole point of life, and to really shed the shame of sex that society pushes on us. Above all, we really need to rise to the challenge and take the challenge of learning to love. and to be okay with intimacy and being all right with our sexualities and saying, yeah, I am a young man. I enjoy women. I want to be close to women. And I don't feel bad for that. That's the most natural thing in the world. And there's all different elements that come into this as well. There's the neurological side of repatterning your brain. It all starts with awareness and self-acceptance. And looking at yourself and saying, yeah, I have this issue. I'm learning about this issue. I'm going to get over it. And I'm going to be a better man because of it. Let me know what you think, guys. JackRickson.com.